So I'm a casual viewer of Yellowstone, but I'm a bigger fan of soap opera and gossip. So I was really intrigued about this beef between Kevin Costner, who plays Governor John Dutton on Yellowstone, and Taylor Sheridan, the creator of Yellowstone. And part of it stems from Costner was waiting around because they split the last season into two halves. Oh, they split it in half. And Costner was waiting for the script, and there was no script yet. And he's an antsy guy, and he decided to go film this film series, Horizon, spending like $38 million of his own money. And the first one came out like over the summer, I think, and it didn't do well at all. Because Kevin Costner isn't a box office guy anymore. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I think it led him to Yellowstone in the first place, because he's, Kevin Costner once upon a time was that guy, just like Harrison Ford was that guy. But, it's different now. And so when Yellowstone fell into his lap, I was like, man, this is great. The resurgence of Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner's ego got in the way because he felt, well, I can just go back into film, where his true destiny right now is TV. So the problem with when he was filming Horizon was it conflicted with the shooting schedule of part 2 of Yellowstone. And again, he was already butting heads with Taylor Sheridan. They butted heads over creative differences and script approvals and all this stuff. And to be honest, Taylor Sheridan was probably tired of Kevin Costner, because all the other Taylor Sheridan shows, they put the scripts out, people act in the scripts, they might have some ideas, and that's it. Like Kevin's is hands on, but when you hire this dude, this is who he is. Kevin Costner makes his bones after a while of writing, directing, and producing. That's, you got Waterworld, you got Dancing with Wolves, you got all these things. Like, he's a very creative guy. So if you get Kevin Costner for your show, all this other stuff's going to come with it. And maybe Taylor got tired of it. So there's all this speculation about what's going to happen with Kevin Costner. First episode pops up, and then first seven minutes, what happened to John Dutton. And even me, being a casual viewer on the show, said this was a bad play. This is not a good way to go. If you want to get rid of that character, you could have had him be in a plane crash. Like, he was off fly fishing someplace and he got into a plane crash. He was off doing government business or something like that, died in a plane crash, or presumed dead. The old school soap opera way, presumed dead. Or some stuff happened, federal charges happened because he was governor, and he got shipped off to some federal penitentiary across the country where they can't get at him. There's a lot of things you could have done with the John Dutton character than what they did. Now, the only good thing about that first 7 minutes is the performance of Kelly Reilly. I love Kelly Reilly. Kelly Reilly is one of the best actresses on TV. I mean, the first time I saw her was on this show. It was a medical show, Black Box, on ABC, like years ago, and she was great in that. And then she also was in a Flight with Denzel Washington, and she's been fantastic on Yellowstone. In fact, this woman should have like tons and tons of Emmys from this series. And I always felt bad about Yellowstone, because Yellowstone should have won like best drama quite a few times, but because it's on basic cable and not streaming, it's not on Netflix. It's not a Netflix series, it's not like Fleabag or The Handmaid's Tale. Yellowstone got pushed to the side. It's the same thing now when people say, oh my God, Suits is so great. Yeah, where were y'all when Suits was on USA for all those years? They're like, oh, we don't watch USA Network. It's like, yes, but Suits is a good show. But now it's like, oh my God, have you seen Suits? Yeah, 10 years ago. Or like 7 years ago. So I will say ego did play a part in this. Like, for Kevin Costner's thing, I feel like Kevin could have made, like, I know he got antsy waiting for the scripts, but I guess he could have made a smaller project. He could have made a smaller thing and had it on Netflix or Hulu and something like that kind of fed his creativity. And then he could have made Horizon after Yellowstone. But Kevin Costner is 69 years old. So at that stage, I think he's like, listen, I don't have time to wait. I'm not in my 30s, 40s, or even 50s. Like, if I need to film something, I need to film it now, because I'm increasingly getting older. So I understand the rush of him doing this project. But at the same time, I think he could have held off a bit, right? For Taylor Sheridan, listen, man, one of the reasons why the show is a hit is because of Kevin Costner. Yes, it's a brilliant show. It's a fantastic cast, But a lot of people tuned in initially not for Taylor Sheridan. As great as much as I love Kelly Reilly, it wasn't Kelly Reilly. Maybe for some people, it was for Kevin Costner. And Taylor Sheridan, he has all these spinoff shows now, and Harrison Ford is on one, and Billy Bob Thornton's on another one. Like, I think he feels like, no, it's my show. I'm the writer. Like, I'm the showrunner. This is because of me. And it's like, yeah, yes, you are creating the content for Kevin Costner, but you got to think, like, who was the draw? And Kevin Costner, and, listen, I'm sure Kevin Costner was a pain to Taylor Sheridan, right? Because Taylor Sheridan has an idea of the character of the show, and he has his ideas, right? But don't you want a guy on your show that is this passionate? Like, Kevin Costner was passionate about Yellowstone. He was passionate about John Dutton. He was passionate about the cast. Like, he loved this show. He could have just been some dude like, I don't care. This is just a check for me. I don't really care. But no, he loved this show. Yeah. Did Kevin Costner go overboard? Probably. But Taylor Sheridan has to realize, like, there's a lot of people who tuned in, and knocking him off the way he did wasn't the right play. It kind of reminds me of Succession, the last season of Succession. Like, Succession, I caught the series late. But when I started watching, it's like, wow, this is really good. And I was a big fan of Shiv Roy. Shiv Roy is fantastic, right? But during that last season, they knocked off Logan Roy. And even though the series ended great, it was a great finale. And the drama that came off of when they found out about Logan, his demise, when you found out about it, that episode was really, really good. And all the episodes after that was good. But when the series ended, he's like, even though this is a great ending, you miss Logan Roy. And I feel like the same thing's going to happen to Yellowstone. I think people are going to watch the show. I think the writing is going to be good. I mentioned Billy Bob Thornton. Like, I almost wish they brought Billy Bob Thornton into to kind of replace Kevin Costner, because I feel like you need another guy who's like a Costner type, who has that type of gravitas, to fill that hole, because that's a big hole to fill. And maybe they will. They probably will. Sam Elliott, something like that. I don't know. But when that series ends, when Yellowstone ends, people are going to say, yeah, that was pretty good, But we still miss John Dutton. So if you're a fan of Yellowstone, tell me what you think. Do you think Kevin Costner should have just kind of waited and did a smaller project and then say, hey, so it didn't conflict with the shooting schedule? Do you think Taylor Sheridan should have been more open? Like, okay, fine, you go off and do your movie. We'll figure something out. We'll say that you disappeared, and then we'll find you. Because I don't think I would have killed him off. The only way I would kill off Kevin Costner if I had another actor in mind who I think might actually be better than him. That's the only way, the way this thing works for me. But I don't know. But we have to see what happens. But what do you think? What do you think of the future of Yellowstone? How do you think this series is actually going to end? Who's your favorite character on this series? And what would you tell Taylor Sheridan about his idea of getting rid of Governor John Dutton in the first 7 minutes of the first episode of the second half of the season?